What's up, and welcome to The Greatest Teacher of All Time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color to highlight their philosophies, strategies, and personalities. Today, I've got Dewan. What's up, Mr. Thomas?
What's going on, man? What's up?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for being here, man. Look at your Instagram page and all the stuff you're doing. I feel like I wanted to bring you on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Dewan, you're actually a elementary school counselor. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Why are you? Why are you an elementary school counselor? There's a lot of different fields in education. How'd you pick counselor?
Yeah, so I remember being a junior in undergrad. I went to George Mason University. So I remember studying sociology and psychology. And to be honest, my junior year, I didn't really know what track I wanted to go to because sociology is real broad in psychology. So I started shadowing different people, therapists, social workers, probation officers, and then I shadowed a school counselor. So when I saw his job, I was like, man, so you get paid to do this, man? So, I mean, it was instant. So I just found a program in the area. And I had a mentor. She was a school, well, she is a school counselor. And she went to the college, George Washington University, for my master's that I went to. So at the time, it was and I think still now, it was one of the top programs for education. So I was like, why not go there and study school counseling? So I just doubled down.
Okay, and here you are now, right? Counselor, how'd you pick elementary school? Because I think you hear like high school counselors more.
Yeah, it's more common. Yep. So I started in high school. So I was in high school for 4 years. And then I transitioned to middle school. I became a middle school guidance director for 2 years. And then I left the field and I started working in social work, independent living, started a business with a friend. Started working with court involved youth in a group home setting. And then I just wanted to come back. So it kind of called me. So I got the opportunity and I was like, I haven't worked on that level. So let's do it.
Yeah, and talking to a lot of teachers, that's kind of how it works too. Like you try a lot of different grades to see what calls you the most, but you just fall into one.
Yep. So this was the final one. So I worked in preschool, I worked in higher education, I worked in different age groups. So elementary was the last one that I didn't work for. So when it came to me, I was like, yeah, it kind of spoke to me. So I was like, let me check it out and then just kind of invest myself and learn that grade level.
Yeah. Again, so great. You had all the experience at the different levels. And that little tidbit you just gave me makes it more clear on this Instagram post you made. So it's from a while ago. It says, or it's actually a picture of you speaking to your high school that you used to go to about like financial aid and getting to college and all that stuff. Yeah, congrats on that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was an honor, man. My high school, IC Northam High School, is in Portsmouth, Virginia. It was voted one of the top. Well, no, it was voted the top African American high school in the country by Steve Harvey. So it's a lot of alumni, a lot of deep roots. So to get the opportunity to go back and talk to juniors at my high school when I remember being a junior in high school, I mean, the pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, that's great. And I think just thinking about my journey into education, growing up, I never like had a teacher who like seemed to like care for me or look out for me or anything. So I sought out to be the teacher that I needed when I was younger, right? And so now you're giving those speeches that you needed when you were growing up too, right?
Same thing, man. Same thing. I remember being in middle school. It changed for me in middle school. I was taking quote unquote regular classes. I didn't know at the time, but my school counselor would always, well, not always say, but towards the end of the year, she was saying, I want you to take the advanced class. And it was actually on another level. So it was a 3-level building. We had like special needs on the first floor, the quote unquote regular classes on the second floor, and then the advanced classes. So we had a perception of the advanced classes that they bougie, stuck up, and they think they're better than everybody. So I don't want to go up there. That's what I was thinking in middle school. So my counselor, she encouraged me to go to the class. So it was a Friday and she asked me to go up to the class. She said, just take an assessment and come right back. So I did it and it came back. Then on Monday, I'll never forget, on Monday, she said, go up and take another assessment. I was like, why do I have to go to class, take another assessment? So I take another assessment, I come back to my class. Then on Tuesday, she just said, yeah, just go upstairs. She was just like, yeah, you're in another class. Like, yeah. So that tracked me into honors in the 8th grade. And I was tracked into honors for high school. I mean, that was pivotal. So, like you said, you want to be that for people. I wanted to be that school counselor that could track someone into honors or into wherever they're supposed to be, and I could do that. You know what I mean? So that was my drive. So we got the same like vision on that. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. And in the post you also said that your counselor said that you are one of her success stories. So I'm guessing that's the story.
Oh yeah. So I mean, she was pivotal when it comes to scholarships and stuff. I mean, she would put information out there and say, hey, you want to apply to scholarships for everybody. But I was the one that, like, for real, I would come to her office and say, hey, what scholarships y'all got now? I'll apply for them and I'll knock them out. So I mean, she just kept feeding me because I mean, at that time and still now, but at that time I was hungry. I was like, I want to get to this college, I want to do this, I want to do that. So she just kept feeding me, and we still have a relationship right now. So she asked me to come back and speak. So yeah, man, my counselor is still my counselor.
Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
man. And if you're thinking about
I
like the
call
whole,
and text and stuff. We still cool.
I love that. And if you're
Yeah.
talking about like the whole full circle metaphor, right? With you
Yeah.
coming full circle with your students, I bet your counselor has a full circle story just like that, where she's like feeding all this to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I mean, she was pivotal. She was pivotal, man. Like she gave me stuff that I didn't know I needed. You feel me? Like when you don't know what you need, she gave me stuff that I didn't know I needed. So
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Yeah. After this, send me her contact. We
yeah,
should.
yeah, for real. She tight, man. She tight. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. So in talking about things that you needed or being fed those types of things, right? With your elementary school students now, you're big on social emotional learning,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Can you give me like a quick um crash course? What is a social emotional learning?
So it's basically a curriculum about mental health. So a lot of people are saying, why don't we teach these things in the school? So we have that in elementary more, but the higher you get up, the less of a focus it is. But in elementary, it's a focus on mental health and well-being, like wellness. So I'm big on wellness. I'm big on mental health advocacy. So I mean, it fits in perfect. So we have a curriculum where we go to classrooms. We teach 30-minute lessons about self-care, about handling your anger, about managing negative emotions, dealing with conflict. Uh, even if you have sexual harassment or bullying. I mean, so many different things within that field, but it's just lumped into social emotional learning. So just how we take care of ourselves, how we treat others. So yep. And how we handle diversity too. We talk about diversity as well. How do we deal with people that are different than us and we're in conflict?
Yeah, and you're saying this is you actually go to the elementary school, or sorry, your elementary students'
Yep.
classes to teach these things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real curriculum. So like what I'll do, I have some videos, I'll have some activities, we have some evidence-based curriculums that we use. So one curriculum we use is called zones of regulation. So it's broken up into 4 zones. So you have red, blue, yellow, and green. So green is like the ideal mood. That's when you're happy, you're calm, you're chill, you're content, you're ready to learn. Red is when you're upset, you're frustrated, you're mad, you're furious. Yellow is when you're anxious, you're nervous, you're uncertain, you're confused. And blue is when you're sad, depressed, disappointed. So we'll ask kids, what zone are you in? And a kid 10 years old can identify their emotions. They'll say, hey, I'm in the yellow and blue zone. We say, okay, well, tell me about the yellow zone. I feel nervous because this. So, well, tell me about the blue zone. I feel disappointed because of this. And then we help them navigate these emotions that are difficult for anybody to navigate, not just a kid, but an adult. But it's broken down in a way was easy to understand for a kid.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And that's at the elementary school level.
Mhm.
If I'm thinking back to my school, I don't remember that happening. Is this
Hey,
like a
Quincy, I'm
new
the same way. Yeah, I don't remember it happening for us, man. I don't remember it happening.
Yeah, and also in high school, I don't remember my school counselor.
Yeah,
Right?
a
So
lot of
like,
people, yeah.
and you're saying you're actually going to the elementary school classes. Have you envisioned how this might be for maybe a high school adaptation?
Oh yeah, so when I was in high school, we had somewhat of a focus on it, but to be honest, the focus was more so on career exploration,
Yeah.
college, military, gap year. So I mean, picking the right classes to get to your goals. So we really didn't we didn't have a curriculum in high school. For our curriculum was geared towards post-secondary education, but in elementary we have that flexibility where it's not heavy content. I mean, it's more basic things that they're learning academically, so we have more time to kind of push in, and the teachers are more open and willing for us to push in. But in high school, I mean, it's a little bit difficult. A teacher may say, hey, I'm trying to teach this AP history lesson. You want to come and talk about self-care? Like, I want, some people may look at the social emotional learning curriculum and say that's not important for whatever the case may be. So yeah, I mean, it's different in high school. But to answer your question, the way it would look in high school, it's more group. So group counseling. So I'll pull 5 or 6 students out of lunch, out of gym.
Now,
And
wait. Do you envision that with every student? Because at
no,
least the way I think is that
okay,
you only go to the counselor if something's wrong with you. So
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
who are
So
you?
the great thing about being in school council is that you have connections to everyone in the building. So the parents, you support the teachers, you're connected to admin, so you have information that the student probably don't know you have either. So I can use different data points. So let's say I'll say every student that had one disciplinary referral, I'm gonna, well, no, I'm not one, that group would be too big, but let's say 3 that had 3 disciplinary referrals. We're gonna pull them for a group, and we're gonna do this for 6 weeks, once a week. And then the curriculum is not necessarily evidence-based curriculum, but you're just processing emotions. Just say, hey, our topic is, bullying, and so we'll just have pretty much a group counseling session. So that's when my therapists come out.
Yeah, and that's great. And maybe getting into that a little more specifically, right? So your school has a mental health team,
Yeah,
right?
we have a whole mental health team. Yep.
Consists of a counselor, psychologist, social worker, all that, right?
Mhm.
So what do you guys do as a team?
So we do a couple things. So one thing we do is crisis response. So let's say if a student is in class, they're having a bad day, then they start throwing chairs. So they're gonna call the crisis team. So the whole mental health team is a part of the crisis team. So we have a code, and once that code is said over the walkie-talkie and we hear it, that means someone has to get to this classroom. Or they'll say the code, and they'll say the classroom to get there ASAP, and then we
So
have to.
that's like your bat symbol or the Avengers
Yeah,
symbol.
yeah. So we got a funny code that we all know. So we use that. So we also have classroom guidance lessons. So we'll push in and teach that curriculum. We have group counseling sessions. We have parent education. We do special education. So students who have a 504 plan, that mean they need accommodations in class, we work with those kids. So I mean, anything when it comes to filling gaps, when it comes to mental health, and I mean definitely when it comes to a kid. So like case in point, we caught a kid vaping today, right? So the mental health team was called in ASAP, because you're not just gonna punish this kid, and it's an elementary school, but you're not gonna just, yeah, I know, I was pretty shocked too, but we're not gonna just punish this kid. We're going to bring in the mental health team, whether it's the school psychologist, the school social worker, whoever has the best relationship with that student. We're going to bring them in, and we're going to try to, talk some sense into them, man, and use different interventions, and hopefully they understand that their behavior needs to change.
Yeah, and so my next question on here, you're kind of answering already, is why are these mental health teams needed in the schools? But I'm asking that because working in the high schools, public high schools, counselors are like the first ones to go when the
Yeah,
budget cuts come,
yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So can you
That's
put on
definitely,
your Avengers cape and tell me why do we need these?
man. Like, I think we need, what, like, why we need school counseling, or
Yeah, mental health
oh,
teams.
mental health. I mean, it's huge, because when you really think about it, kids spend about 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, away from their family. So when they're in school, they're learning the academic curriculum, but they have so many different interactions, so many things happen in school that parents know nothing about really. So we're there to support that piece. So we're more like a support team. So when it comes to making budget cuts, if you like, before you cut that teacher that's teaching that curriculum, you're probably going to cut the support staff which I mean, schools need the support staff because we support teachers too. You know, I have teachers
Mm.
that have tough mental health days, and they'll come to me and we're talking about things, and so we help them navigate emotions as well. So we are the mental health advocates in the building. So anyone that's having a difficult time, not just the students, but parents, teachers, admin.
Wait, that's super useful. Is that in the job description or is that
It's
just
not.
something you? Okay.
It's not. It's not. It's kind of like a common thing known within the field.
Yeah.
But in school counseling, our job description, I mean, to be honest, man, the things that I do throughout the day, I know people say this, but really, we have at least at least 3 or 4 roles wrapped in school counseling. So different things that happen in the school building that doesn't fall under discipline or teaching, it kind of falls to school counseling. So so we kind of like a jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's where like the attendance and stuff like that comes in.
Yeah, we do attendance. I mean, you name it, anything that's really is not discipline and not running the school in terms of the leadership of the school and teaching, anything in that middle piece, usually school counselors take care of it. But if you're gonna make budget cuts, you're not gonna lay off the AP, you're not gonna lay off the teacher, you're probably gonna lay off one of the support staff. So unfortunately, that's us sometimes.
Yeah, okay, okay. And maybe talking a little more about your team specifically, right? So
Yep.
you post another picture on Instagram of you and your mental health support team,
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
your whole team is women. Like you're the only
Yeah.
guy there,
Yep,
right?
yep. I am the only guy in the team on the team. I'm the highest guy in terms of hierarchy in the school. We don't have any male principals or APs, and we barely have male teachers. I mean, we have probably 10 men in the building, in the entire building. So it's definitely a female dominated career. Most school counselors in elementary are older white women. I'm a younger black man, so I'm definitely the opposite. But yeah, that's just how it is right now.
And I want to get on like the importance of that, right? So for me personally, right, being a high school black male physics teacher, young,
Yeah,
um, I'm really hesitant to leave the classroom
yeah,
because I
yeah.
am what these students need, right? I'm what the black students need in order
It's
to see like,
representation.
yeah, the representation for see like a mentor, someone who looks like them, but
Mhm.
also in the same breath, what the white students need in
Yeah.
having another idea of, oh, that's what a black person can be,
Yeah,
right?
because a lot of these kids, you or I may be the first black man that they had an interaction with, not just high and by, but like actually, like I know a lot about this person, and they're not my culture. You know what I mean? So we may be the
Yeah,
first people in their lives, that they
right.
really had that interaction with.
Or
They don't
this
see them.
yeah, or this black person is not in a gang. Like what?
Yeah,
That
this
exists.
oh this black guy is teaching. I
Yeah,
thought black guys supposed to be coaching.
that's it.
Like
That's
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
can you maybe tell me about your specific, I guess, I don't know, the responsibility you feel you hold as being one of the few black male counselors?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely a responsibility. I mean, on the micro, but on the macro, I mean, black men, we have a big responsibility in society. So I just see my impact being in education. That's just my niche. That's my talents. That's what I enjoy. I love to learn, love to read. I love to talk and listen. So I mean, it just kind of led me there. But I think all black men, we have a responsibility in whatever silo we're in. It's just that I chose education, and we definitely need more black men in education. I mean, everybody goes through the public school. Well, not the public school system, but everyone goes through the school system growing up. So everyone has been in touch with a teacher. So yeah, I mean, we need black men, Asian men, Hispanic, Middle Eastern. We need just diversity. We need diversity, more diversity in the schools.
Yeah, I mean, it's all needed.
Yeah,
That's the word. Yeah.
man. It's needed.
Yeah. Does it feel like a heavy weight? Because I'm
uh,
kind of in this transition phase right now, and I guess I'm
yeah.
looking for advice, counselor.
Oh no, man, it is a heavy weight. I'm not gonna act like it isn't. It is a heavy weight. I mean, but you kind of pick your struggle. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, this is a heavy weight, but if you're in a different field doing something else, it'll be a different type of weight, but it will be a weight. So this is a weight that I'm willing to bear. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay, yeah. And I appreciate that. Like you are definitely appreciate with all this.
Yeah, yeah. And I appreciate you, man. Your platform, man. I like it. I like it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've got one more little topic I want to get to, but before we can wrap it up.
Yep.
But so again, you're a mental health advocate, but
Yep.
you do this for elementary school students, right?
Yep.
I would think that that's more needed or common for the high school students going through a lot of different things. But
Yeah.
like, what types of things do you do with elementary school students? I know you talked about the emotional
Yeah.
engaging, but what else?
Yeah, so like the great thing about elementary school, they're young. So they're learning the building blocks in math and of reading and writing. So we once again we just go right to the building blocks of self-care, like legit talent, self-esteem. Like I was talking to a student today, she has low self-esteem. So we talked about the importance of having higher self-esteem. How do you raise your self-esteem? How do you value yourself? So like the basic building blocks that people need, because the kids elementary, they don't need it to be too complex and too convoluted. In high school, you could kind of have that conversation, but they're not ready to handle that conversation. So you kind of got to give them the building blocks of the golden rule, like treat people the way you would like to be treated. To some kids, that's a foreign concept. They didn't learn it yet, you know? So we teach them the building blocks of taking care of themselves and being respectful to others. So, I mean, to be real, it's a list of different things, but just think about self-care, wellness, and mental health, the building blocks of each thing, even resiliency. We talk about that. I mean, it's a number of stuff we talk about, but just the building blocks, are small building blocks.
Okay. And maybe my last one, still touching on that, but if you were to ask me, a high school teacher, like what is
Yeah,
impacting students' mental health and self-esteem like that too, I would say TikTok and Instagram and stuff
it
like that,
is.
right? For the
It's
high school
social
level.
media. I mean, elementary too.
Yeah, that was what I was asking. Is it really social media for
Yeah.
elementary school
Yeah,
students?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have kids on TikTok. I mean, and so not just social media, but if they're playing Fortnite, they could have parties in Fortnite. They could message and talk back and forth. So they'll hop on the game with their group, and that's another form of social media for them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, yeah, we have and I mean TikTok, any TikTok challenge that happen, like for instance, we're based in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. And for a little bit, it was a TikTok challenge about destroying the bathroom. I think it was a couple months ago. And you remember that one? So we
Yeah,
had kids in elementary school, you know, putting toilet tissue and jamming the toilet, like putting water on the floor, throwing paper around. I mean, because they saw it on TikTok, so they're like, "Oh, this is what let's do the challenge." And we're like, we had to have a whole lesson, go to each class and describe why this isn't the best course of action. You know what I'm saying? Destroying your own school. So yeah, man. I mean,
that's so funny.
social media.
As a grown-up, I don't know how old you are, but like when I was in school, the social media challenges were
Yeah.
planking. Like
Yeah, yeah, we had planking and stuff, man, but they got,
that's harmless.
man, one challenge was, I think, slap your teacher on the butt. So it was crazy stuff. I'm like, who was coming up with these challenges? Who's held accountable for this? Because kids are following like mainly TikTok.
Wow.
It's different times.
Yeah, man. Kanye West going off on Instagram makes a lot more sense now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Dewan, thank you for this, Mr.
Man,
Thomas.
thank you.
Sharing all this stuff on social emotional learning, what you're
Yeah,
doing as a counselor for elementary school students. It's all great. And one of the reasons why I think you might be one of the greatest educators of all time.
man, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Thank you to everyone else for watching The Greatest Teacher of All Time, where I interview teachers of color to highlight their philosophies, strategies, and personalities.